This team is going to give me high blood pressure, guys. They are going to give me high blood pressure. Manchester United 3, Southampton 1. And for the best parts of the game, I don't know what team was relegation battle team. I don't know what team was sitting rock bottom of the Premier League. But Manchester United managed to get 3 points, and all thanks to none other than Ahmad. Listen, Ahmad is him. First career hat-trick, senior career hat-trick for the kid. Manchester United have a special player on their hands for the next 5 or so years. He is such a special player, but let's not paint over it, guys. It was not an amazing performance. Let's be honest. So we're going to talk about it as always. Here's 5 things we learned. Make sure you hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. Now let me start with number 1, and rightfully so. Ahmad is him. Manchester United have an absolute player on their hands that has bailed them out multiple times throughout this season, and the more the season goes on, it's even more criminal that Erik ten Hag couldn't fit him into his team or couldn't find a space for him after he returned back from his Sunderland loan and obviously recovered from his injuries. Single-handedly bailed United out for the equaliser and then gets the second, and then obviously great pressing to get the third. A well-deserved hat-trick. I'm so happy for him. He takes the match ball home. Ahmad is him. Let's not get it mixed up. He is the best player for Manchester United this season, has 12 goal involvements in the Premier League so far, and that is for a Premier League campaign where he was in and out of the starting lineup for the first couple of months. And my second point leads me to obviously Manchester United's performance. Now, throughout the game, Southampton dominated, and that's why I said I don't know what team is sitting bottom of the Premier League. Manchester United were second to everything. They were sloppy in possession, the press was non-existent, and as a result, Southampton was so comfortable on the ball in their first I would say 60 or so minutes. They get the goal from a set piece. Listen to this stat, guys. Southampton have not scored from a corner this season, and what happens? They come up against the team that have conceded the second most corners in the Premier League, and then his cash money, of course, is hits off Ugarte, goes down as an own goal. I don't know, do you guys feel like Onana could have done better? I don't want to be too harsh on Onana because he made some big saves as well throughout the game to keep Manchester United kind of in it, but Manchester United need to figure out this corner problem that they have where they are just so open and concede goals. I don't know if it's the zonal defensive strategy, because today, like I said, it's an own goal, hits off Ugarte, but the fact that Tyler Dibling was able to get to the header first and get a little flick on into a dangerous space, that is a big question mark. Number 3, now credit to Kamaldeen Sulemana. Listen, guys, I was watching him at Rennes, and here's a screenshot from 2022. He was a raw talent, but you could see the product on show. You could see the product that he had, and now at Southampton, and today he absolutely destroyed Leny Yoro. That's the first time I've seen some real vulnerability from Leny Yoro on that right-handed side. Ugarte was supporting him throughout passages of the game, and then when Ugarte came off, I felt like it was just man for man, 1v1, Kamaldeen Sulemana just skinning him every single time. He's a rapid player, he's got finishing on him as well, and he's also so comfortable at dribbling. Manchester United could not deal with him throughout the game, and I can't lie, at one point I thought he was coming off, and I was so glad, but they didn't put up his name. I think eventually he did come off, but he was their man of the match had they walked away with 3 points, and I'm so glad that they didn't. Leny Yoro struggled, and I really thought at one point maybe Amorim might take Leny Yoro off and just put Mazraoui at right-sided centre-back, but the limitations that they have, obviously Diogo Dalot being suspended, I guess that's why he probably chose not to do it, and obviously you don't want to impact maybe a young player's confidence, an 18-year-old player like Yoro, but it was an absolute sight for sore eyes, and there's no kind of criticism or heavy criticism on Leny Yoro. I think we just saw the flaws when he comes up against a more rapid player. Sulemana was able to just have him on toast every single time, get him behind comfortably. De Ligt was trying to support him and try to provide some support on that right hand side. That was obviously one of the key indicators for me for Southampton throughout the game. It was the threat that Sulemana carried on that side. And my 4th point is, well, Ruben Amorim clearly does not take any passengers in the game. He hooked Højlund and he hooked Ugarte. That was some big calls to make. I feel like Rasmus Højlund should not start for Manchester United. Give Joshua Zirkzee some time, and I'm going to actually get to the point of Joshua Zirkzee on the 5th one, but this point really is more about how Ruben Amorim is happy to make sacrifices on the pitch, to not prove a point, but to show players that these performances are not acceptable. Rasmus Højlund for me could not get out of gear 1, and it's been like that for the best part of the last 8 Premier League games that he's been starting or he's been having some involvement. Ugarte, I was a bit shocked with that substitution, I'm not going to lie, given the fact that that Kobbie Mainoo had come off and Toby Collier was coming on for Ugarte, but Toby Collier managed to do a good job just sitting deep, getting the ball forward. He has this physical aspect in his game that I think a lot of people maybe doubted whether he had it or not, but he does have it, and I would love to see Ugarte and Collier playing maybe more, or maybe see some elements of them playing together throughout some games. Kobbie Mainoo as well also has that physical aspect of the game where he's able to, you know, take part in duels and maybe come out successful, but Toby Collier came on for Ugarte, and I think that was a great substitution. The other substitutions, I mean, Anthony missing a clear chance on goal. You don't pay 80 million for a player that misses chances like that, especially when you're a goal down at home to a team that is bottom of the league. And like I said, that leads me to my fifth point. Joshua Zirkzee, that cameo, I'm standing, I'm applauding, just like that game against Arsenal at the Emirates in the FA Cup. I really feel like it's time to give Joshua Zirkzee a start. The guy hasn't had an opportunity to start since September, guys. We've changed managers since then. He hasn't had a chance to start in the Premier League, and with the performances that he's been putting on, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know if you guys agree, but I feel like he did more in that appearance or in that cameo than Rasmus Højlund did throughout the game. And I always say Joshua Zirkzee, when he has runners in behind or he has runners off him in the wide channels, Amad Diallo at right wing back, he had Anthony, he had Garnacho, and he also had that play option of going back to the midfielder to then go back and go forward. He flourishes in those roles, and today he was able to open up Southampton. There was multiple times he's going out wide to Garnacho, going out wide to Amad, holding the ball in the middle to allow Manchester United to get players forward. I really feel like Joshua Zirkzee maybe should start the next Premier League game. I don't know if I'm being reactionary, but I've definitely felt like this over the last couple of games, and this is a redemption story for him. I saw him playing with a lot more confidence today. He's trying to get on goal. There was one chance where he gets the ball, he skips past three defenders waiting for Garnacho to make the run. He doesn't. He goes out wide to the right hand side and takes a shot. It gets blocked. But that's the kind of things that you want to see your striker doing, especially a striker that has been low on confidence. You lot remember that Newcastle game at the end of 2024. I want to see more of that from Joshua Zirkzee, but today I was really happy with his performance, and like I said, I'd like to see him maybe start the next Premier League game. Now let me be clear, this sort of performance, you look at the scoreline and think, yeah, 3-1, but guys, we need to be honest with ourselves. This is not acceptable. Manchester United, for the best parts of the game until that Amad goal, of course they were pressing and they were applying pressure, but their pressure wasn't really going anywhere. They were missing big chances. This is not good enough, especially when you're coming off the back of that performance at Anfield. If you're not up against it, against the smaller teams in the Premier League, it don't matter what you do against the top-sided teams. You have to be consistent, and Manchester United need to find that element of consistency. Of course, it's a ever-changing starting 11. You know, the back line is always changing. I feel like the midfield is kind of solidified with Ugarte, Kobbie Mainoo. Bruno Fernandes is kind of solidified in his 10 role. He went to the deeper midfield role today when Kobbie Mainoo came off. Christian Eriksen with a phenomenal assist, guys. That is just pure playmaking assist. Amad gets the ball, causing so much problems on that right hand side for Southampton. And when Amad does play at right wing back, I know a lot of people don't like it, but it's Manchester United's only threat in the wide channels, especially with Diogo Dalot out. He's the only guy that can apply that pressure and be able to create something in the wide channels, and that is something that Amorim really relies on in his system. It's the pressure and the consistency and the ball playing abilities, the dribbling abilities, getting forward in the wide channels. You saw Garnacho today going wide quite a bit. Anthony wasn't going wide as much when he came on, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of shocked when Anthony came on and he went to the 10. I actually thought it would Amad go to the 10 and he would go to right wing back, but it kind of worked. I mean, it wasn't the best of performances, but this is not acceptable. Like I said, when you're up against the smaller teams, that is when it really shows. There was just no passion throughout the game until Manchester United were able to get on the score sheet eventually. These are the kind of games where you really identify the weak points in Manchester United's team. Mentality is a big thing. I feel like especially like low block teams as well, it's difficult for United to break down. I mean, they had a heap of shots today, but how many of them were actually on target? How many threatened the goalkeeper? How many were blocked? Southampton were throwing a man in front of everything and they were able to get the blocks, and like I said, Man United missed more than 2 big chances. Those are the kind of moments where if the scoreline turned out differently, we would be discussing those big chances missed, especially that chance from Anthony. That is a chance for me you have to put away. Open goal, the whole goal to aim at, you're sliding in and instead you're going across goal instead of directly at goal. I don't know what he was thinking there, but like I said, Joshua Zirkzee, for me, I think he deserves a start. He's earned it. I really think he's earned it. Amad Diallo is him. He's the guy that's bailing Manchester United out consistently. Matheus de Ligt, I think, had a good performance as well, put in a rock-solid challenge that actually started an opportunity for Manchester United. Harry Maguire comes on, does something similar with a headed clearance that I think actually led to the second goal, or it eventually led to the second goal as well. Leacher as well. Mazraoui at left-sided wing-back, I'm not sold on it. But Manchester United are really falling short with players. I don't know if you guys realise as well, it seems like bar Garnacho, who's obviously linked to a move to Napoli, every other player that Manchester United have linked to a move potentially in this January transfer window is not playing. Casemiro is not playing. Tyrone Malacia is not playing. Marcus Rashford is not playing. He's not even in the matchday squad. I think Christian Eriksen is the only guy that came on because Manchester United were in dire need of reinforcements in the attacking phases of the game. But let me know, guys, your thoughts of the game. Like I said, this is not acceptable. The scoreline, of course, is flattering, 3-1. The only happy thing to take away from it, of course, is 3 points, and it's another 3 points on the board for Manchester United to try and finish in a respectful place in the Premier League table. And obviously another good takeaway is obviously Amad Diallo's hat-trick, his first career hat-trick, like I said, for Manchester United, or just in his career in general. And Manchester United have done a great job to be able to tie him down to a 5.5-year contract. These are the players that Manchester United need to continue developing and building around. I hate that term, build around a player, but he is one of the players that they need to include in this rebuild that Man United are going to undergo in the next couple of transfer windows. But let me know your thoughts down below, guys, and be sure to comment, like, subscribe if you're new here. You guys know what it is.